Taxes. Picture this. Imagine you just had a hard month at work, slaving away flipping burgers at your local McDonald's. You're in bed when you get an email from them. It says you've been paid $2,000, but your bank account only gets $1,456. You scroll down the stub. Federal income tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare. This is the modern ritual of giving away a chunk of your money to invisible forces, and they expect you to say thank you. Here's the deal. Taxes are the cost of civilization. You pay, the government builds roads, funds schools, makes sure your favorite taco truck isn't infested with rats, and sends billion-dollar missiles to places you've never been. But there are different types of taxes. Income tax, which hits the money you make, sales tax, which hits the money you spend, and capital gains tax, which hits the money your investments made while you were asleep. Nearly everyone also pays Social Security tax, like the government forcing you to save for your retirement, and Medicare tax, which supports healthcare for the elderly. Then comes filing your taxes. The government knows how much you owe, but it makes you guess. If you're right, no worries. But if you're wrong, you're cooked. The middleman, banks, you walk into a bank, hand the cashier your money, they count it, smile, and tell you it will be added to your account. You walk out and think, great, now it's sitting in a vault somewhere being guarded by a dragon. But in reality, that money's already gone. Most people think of banks like a big safe, but they are just a matchmaker. When you deposited that $1,000, the bank took $900 of it and gave it to someone who wants to buy a jet ski. That system is called fractional reserve banking. It relies on the idea that not everyone is going to show up at the same time asking to withdraw 100% of their account. That is, unless it's 2008, when people lined up to withdraw everything, causing the system to crumble. Banks make money by lending your money at a higher interest rate than they give you. You are the supply, the borrower is the demand. Rent for money, interest, imagine you borrow $1,000. You have to pay back $1,280. Why? Because of interest. Interest is money's way of charging rent to exist in someone else's hands. When you borrow, it's the price tag. When you save, it's the reward for being patient. There are two types. Simple interest is a flat fee. Compound interest is when every dollar I gave you has clones, and those clones also want rent. If you owe 20% on a credit card and miss a payment, your interest starts earning interest. Soon, your $12 burrito turns into a $50 regret. On the flip side, investing at 7% compound interest is like a cheat code, your money duplicates itself while you sleep. Interest is either your worst enemy or your best unpaid employee. The shrinking dollar, inflation, you buy a bag of chips, open it, and it looks half-eaten. You check the price, 30% higher than last time. You've been hit by inflation. Inflation is what happens when money slowly gets less valuable. Your $5 bill is still $5, but it buys less gas and fewer noodles. Why? Sometimes people have too much cash and they all want the same TV, so the price goes up. Sometimes supply chains break. A little inflation, 2% a year, is normal. But if it spikes, the government fights back by raising interest rates. This makes borrowing expensive, which cools off spending and, hopefully, brings prices back down. The party crasher, recessions. A recession is when the economy decreases for at least 6 months. One day you're fine, the next, there are layoffs and the stock market is tanking. Jobs vanish, and everyone stops buying things they don't need. Think of the economy as a party. In the boom phase, everyone's dancing and the drinks are flowing. But eventually, the lights flicker. Someone checks their bank account, and suddenly the DJ is playing sad lo-fi beats about corporate downsizing. Recessions are painful resets, but they aren't forever. Eventually, spending returns and growth resumes, but not without scars. The shadow algorithm, credit scores. A credit score is a 3-digit number that decides whether you get a house or a soul-crushing 27% interest rate on a TV. This number isn't about wealth, it's about trust. Lenders want to know, if I give this person money, will they pay me back? It's calculated based on your payment history, how much of your limit you use, and how long you've had your accounts. Your credit score is like a pet dog. Ignore it, and it poops all over your life. Take care of it, and it might help you buy a home. Social constructs, currency. The weird part about money is that it isn't actually real. There is no more physical legitimacy in a dollar bill than in a stick. The only reason a dollar buys something and a stick doesn't is that we, as a society, have agreed it has value. Money is a social construct built on a shared belief and trust. The government prints it, the banks regulate it, and we trade it. If trust disappears, the money becomes monopoly money. The what-if tax, opportunity cost. Imagine you have $50. You can buy a video game, or a nice dinner. You choose the game. Most people think that game cost $50. But in economics, that game cost you a nice dinner. This is opportunity cost. Every time you spend $1, you aren't just losing that dollar, you are losing everything else that dollar could have been. Wealthy people don't just look at price tags, they look at what they are giving up in the future to have something today. Assets versus liabilities. This is the wealth scale. An asset puts money into your pocket, like a rental property or a stock. A liability takes money out of your pocket, like a car loan or credit card debt. Most people spend their lives collecting liabilities they think are assets. That shiny new car is a liability that loses value the second you drive it away. To get rich, you simply need to buy more assets than liabilities. The scoreboard, net worth. If you want to know how you're doing, stop looking at your salary. Look at your net worth. This is everything you own minus everything you owe. You can earn $200,000 a year and have a negative net worth if you're drowning in debt. Your salary is your speed, but your net worth is your distance. The safety net, emergency funds. Life is a series of unprecedented events that cost exactly $2,000. An emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting in a boring savings account. It's not an investment, it's insurance. It's the difference between a job loss being a stressful couple of months or a total life collapse. Part 12, Diversification and Liquidity. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification means spreading your money so if one company crashes, the others keep you afloat. Then there's liquidity, how fast you can turn an asset into cash. Cash is high liquidity. A giant piece of land is low liquidity. You need a mix. Too much cash, and inflation eats it. Too little, and you can't pay your bills in a crisis. Sunk costs and human capital. Finally, don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. Don't stay in a bad investment just because you already lost money. The money is gone. Move on to something better. And remember your human capital. Your ability to earn is your greatest asset. Investing in a skill that increases your salary by $10,000 every year is a better return than any stock market could ever give you. In conclusion, finance isn't about math, it's about behavior. The system might feel rigged, but now that you know the rules, you can stop being a player in someone else's game and start being the architect of your own. Money isn't the goal, freedom is. And freedom starts with understanding where every dollar goes.